There's a strange moment in the 1925 silent film The Lost World. A man spying on the characters from afar. He's never acknowledged, and why he's spying is never explained. It's a blink and you'll miss it scene, but it hints at a separate storyline that could have drastically changed the film. The Lost World was a groundbreaking film for its time, showcasing dinosaurs fighting, hunting, and even roaming the streets of London in all their terrifying glory. Sure, there have been dinosaur films before it, but this one truly pushed the boundaries of what special effects could achieve to bring prehistoric giants to life on screen. Now, over a century later, The Lost World still stands as a landmark in cinematic history, even if it doesn't always get the recognition it deserves. While its stop-motion effects and ambitious scope were revolutionary, the film has long been overshadowed by later classics like King Kong, which borrowed heavily from its innovation. However, I think the film would have been less recognized, or even completely forgotten, had the production took a different route. At one point, the studio asked screenwriter Marion Fairfax to develop a plot about the characters encountering cannibals in the Amazon, just in case the dinosaur effects didn't live up to expectations. The alternate storyline was meant to provide an action-oriented fallback, ensuring that the film would still have dramatic tension, even without dinosaurs in the picture. The man chosen to bring the dinosaurs to life was Willis O'Brien, through his groundbreaking stop-motion animation. At the time, however, O'Brien had only worked on short films with relatively crude animation, and the one feature film he had contributed to didn't even credit him. Understandably, there was a lot riding on his shoulders this time around. Ultimately, the dinosaurs did make it into the film, so who won that battle? But here's the question. Was this subplot ever meant to replace the dinosaurs entirely, or was it just an extra obstacle for the characters along the way? I ask because if you read what's available from the screenplay involving the cannibals, it's honestly a bit underwhelming. The characters treat them as a threat, but there's never any real confrontation. It honestly feels like filler, the kind where nothing is really happening, and you're just waiting for the good stuff to actually start. The bearers are in fact the real threat to the main characters, as they're the ones who abandon the expedition in order to save their own skins. Interestingly though, one of them is named Gomez, a possible nod to the character in Arthur Conan Doyle's original novel, where Gomez also attempts to betray the group by trapping them on the plateau. The character Zambo also receives a wounded arm in the struggle against Gomez and the other bearers, which explains why his arm is mysteriously bandaged up in the final film without any real explanation. Considering how little of the cannibal story is told, along with elements like Zambo's unexplained injured arm, it seems the cannibals were intended more as a minor subplot rather than a full-fledged replacement storyline. As I mentioned earlier, the cannibal subplot ultimately feels like filler and not the kind that adds any depth or intrigue. Honestly, it brings the film's momentum to a halt. If this storyline had remained, I think it would have been a major letdown for both fans and critics, especially for audiences expecting dinosaurs in a film based on one of the most iconic dinosaur stories ever told. Viewers probably would have been frustrated if the prehistoric creatures never showed up at all. And while I'm mildly curious about how the subplot might have played out, I'm really glad it didn't replace the dinosaur sequences. Without them, the 1925 film could have easily faded into obscurity as just another forgettable jungle adventure of its era.